Hi, everyone, and welcome or welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this horror anthology movie review video as part of my current March 2024 series. So, today, before we get started on the movie that we're going to review, that actually wasn't originally the movie I was going to watch and review. This was the original movie that I was going to watch and review, and you can probably tell right away that this movie is the title's in Italian. Um, this is actually known as The Three Faces of Terror from 2004. It is an Italian movie. As you can see, everything's in Italian on the DVD case. However, I ordered this as a Region Zero DVD, and I went to pop it in my Blu-ray slash DVD player, to both of them actually, that I have in my house, and turns out that it's not. It won't play them. It's not. It's not the right. What do you call it? The right region, I guess. It doesn't. It doesn't. I basically got the message that it can't read the DVD. So somebody tried to pull a fast one on me here, I think, because it does say Region Zero everywhere on the DVD, but I don't know, because I have another DVD that's in a different language. Like it's actually Dawn of the Dead, the original from 1978. But that DVD plays because it's a Region Zero, even though the DVD case, like the description on the back is all in, I think it's an Asian language. I can't remember exactly which one, but so I was thinking it'd be the same with this, and I should have popped this in right when I got it. Of course, I got it like 9 months ago, so there ain't much I can do about it now other than try to sell it or donate it or something. So yeah, just a little side story on that. But yeah, it's really The Three Faces of Terror is what it's called, or I Three Volti del Terror in Italian. So now that that's out of the way, I'm nothing if not adaptable. And fortunately, I have a lot of horror anthology movies in my collection, so we just had to change it up, which we did. And this is the movie that we're actually going to be reviewing, as the title indicates. Lon Chaney and the Devil's Messenger from 1961/62, depending on where you look. So yeah, The Devil's Messenger. Let's just go ahead and get into it. This is another horror anthology movie that I got about the same time as that other one that doesn't play for me. But The Devil's Messenger is a 1961 anthology horror film containing 3 episodes of the 1959 black and white Swedish television series 13 Demon Street, which was never broadcast in the USA, with some new scenes featuring Lon Chaney Jr., Karen Cadler, and John Crawford. This feature version of this series is the closest the US came to seeing the TV series, although the entire series is now available on DVD in the territory. So basically, this is a story where Satan, played by Lon Chaney Jr., enlists the help of a suicide victim in hell to lure unsuspecting earthly victims to their eternal doom. It contains 3 somewhat unrelated Twilight Zone-esque stories. So the first story is a photography goes insane after raping a mysterious girl in the snow. The second story is a 50,000-year-old woman found frozen in an ice field is fought over by scientists. And the third story is a man's death is foretold in dreams. So yeah, that's sort of the setup and the premise for The Devil's Messenger. As far as the cast goes, we have Lon Chaney Jr. as Satan, Karen Cadler as Satania, which is funny because that's got the name Satan in it with a YA at the end, and then Michael Hinn as John Radian. So yeah, The Devil's Messenger from 1961. This horror anthology is okay. It does have a Twilight Zone-esque sort of feel and story. Like the story structure is kind of the same. It kind of has that Twilight Zone feel to it, which is a positive for it. But there's a lot of negatives as well. So this isn't going to be a long review because frankly I just don't have that much to say about it. But let's get into it, starting with the pros or the things that I liked about The Devil's Messenger. It does have that weird old school charm to it that's hard to explain, but it's kind of enjoyable, at least for me, despite some issues that it has. As I said, that Twilight Zone-esque nature, and this does kind of feel like an overseas sort of Twilight Zone. I don't want to say rip-off, but it has that same sort of idea, that same sort of atmosphere going on, not done nearly as well. Um, so yeah, that's a pro. Having Lon Chaney Jr. really adds a lot to the movie. Just his performance as the devil and his on-screen presence makes him more. It makes for a more impactful narrative than you'd otherwise have here. Yeah, it's just he's great. The first story was kind of creepy, I thought, because of the imagery and certain acts that take place, especially for that time. It's probably the most effective of the three stories from a narrative standpoint. Not that any of them are overly effective, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be that one. It did have kind of an interesting twist with the third story playing into the framing story as well in terms of characters' involvement and motivations, I'll say. And then finally, I thought it had some pretty good old school thrilling musical cues that worked pretty well for this old school type of music. So yeah, those are the pros, or the things I liked about The Devil's Messenger from 1961. As far as cons go, the biggest con is obviously, as I mentioned in the original synopsis, is um, they basically took three episodes from this Swedish television series, 13 Demon Night, and then they edited some scenes with Lon Chaney, the framing story, if you will, him as the devil. They edited that in to try to make a horror anthology movie, and you can tell it doesn't have a cohesive, coherent sort of horror anthology movie to it. It really is quite incoherent as a result of doing that, taking these episodes and trying to edit in some new scenes. It has shaky editing as well. That doesn't really help. The stories themselves are kind of predictable and played out, though at this time I guess they weren't. So I can't rip it too hard because this is basically the late 50s, early 60s, and so you know, watching it now, yeah, it's none of these stories are overly creative or unique, but at that time they probably kind of were, especially the third story where the guy dreams about his own death is foretold to him in dreams. Um, the final twist in the framing story is pretty silly and hard to get behind, honestly. Definitely feels like sort of a fast, tacked on, and not all that effective ending or twist to the movie. And then the effects are very outdated, of course. The editing is very shaky, and overall just doesn't come across as a visually interesting or technically sound movie. It's kind of hard to follow, and it's kind of all over the place. But I don't know. That being said, I'm not going to get rid of this because, as I said, it does have sort of a Twilight Zone old school charm to it. As I've gotten older, black and white, as well as foreign films, subtitle films, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been interested in either of them. But as I've gotten older, I wouldn't say I seek them out, but I'm not afraid of them. So in this case, the black and white doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that it's not that well made, and you can tell that it was made for a TV series that they tried to make into a movie. So for what it is, I'm going to give this movie a 5.5 out of 10. I like Lon Chaney in this movie. I like the Twilight Zone-esque kind of feel to it, but there's a lot of incoherency here that I can't give it a higher rating than that. So 5.5 out of 10 for The Devil's Messenger from 1961. Go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen this movie, what you think of it. Do you like it? Why or why not? I know it is, you can watch it on YouTube, I've seen. And I got this for fairly cheap. I think it was less than $10, this DVD. So it's out there for you. I know not a lot of people probably know about it, but please like this video. Hit the little notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great horror content. Not only the rest of this series, but what I have coming out the rest of the year and frankly next year as well. Or at least into next year. So with that being said, I hope you guys are enjoying this review series. Thank you for adjusting with me and the change and the last minute edition of this horror anthology movie that I reviewed. And as always, stay scared. Bye.